twin blades have been seemingly completely neglected by prop makers for a while now, but finally we get a couple more twin blades to use. I particularly look at twin blades because, well, the issue with racing has been that efficiency is a real problem. We can't really finish a 2-minute race going all out full speed because we just dry our battery out too quickly. So twin blades give you a real nice advantage of having just 2 blades spinning through the air instead of 3 blades, which should make it more efficient and potentially faster because you have 2 blades, so you have less drag, you can get the motor up to higher RPMs, and you can potentially get a higher top speed. So let's look at these 2 blades. These are the 2 newest blades, and in my opinion, these are the 2 best twin blade options that we have today. And let's look at the differences between the 2. So the Avan, first of all, this is the production Avan tri-blade prop. I love this prop. It's a great prop. And the production tri-blade actually has a frosted surface, as I discussed in a previous video. And that frosted surface is supposed to help with the air lamination, supposed to keep the air stuck to the blade as it goes over the top of it. I actually do feel that there is a slight difference between the prototype and this production prop. I can't really tell if one is better than the other because I am out of the prototype prop. I broke them all, but there is a minor difference, which is really surprising. I did not expect there to be any feel difference at all. The twin blade version of the Avan prop is not the same blade. It looks similar, and I can't really hold them side to side. Here you go. But the twin blade actually is more meaty. It's got a much thicker blade on it. The pitch seems to be about the same. If you can actually see, Sage tells me the pitch on this prop, the static pitch is 5. The advanced ratio of each prop is different. I think one is like 7.1, the other one is 7.6 or something. But the prop is built for speed. It's primarily built for speed. It's built to go really fast. And these 2 are different, but the Cyclone 50/50 is the same. Back when the first Cyclone came out, I highly recommended Dahl make just that Cyclone blade into a twin blade because we had no good twin blade back then, and we still don't really have an excellent twin blade now, but at least we have some more options. The twin blade Cyclone is exactly the same as the regular Cyclone blade, and it feels very much like a Cyclone blade. I didn't expect anything less, but it has a little bit less punch and a little bit less grip. It has a little bit more speed though, so you know, all the standard benefits that you'd think you'd get from a twin blade. The Avan twin blade, I actually have no idea how it's going to fly because it's different. It's a totally different blade, and with minor changes you can actually totally change the way a blade flies, and that's what Sage does. He focuses more on the performance of the blade rather than the look of the blade, whereas he could probably design a different look. The performance is obviously much more important, so he focuses on that. The most interesting thing about comparing these 2 props is that they weigh the same. The Emax blade looks like it's got so much more plastic material on it, but both of them weigh 4 grams, which is really impressive. It's really impressive for the Emax prop. In terms of durability, I would definitely give the durability crown to the Dahl prop because it's a Cyclone. I think the Cyclone blade is probably one of the most durable blades ever made, and the Emax prop is made of like it's a stiffer material, but it will bend. I feel like if you hit something, it will bend, and you can't really bend it back. Yeah, the durability is not 100%. It's very high. Both of these props have very high durability, but when you compare them to each other, I think that the Cyclone blade has much higher durability. These new props that are coming out they're all engineered. They're all well designed. To this point, they all should work as they're intended. So it's really hard for me to review them independently because they're all working well, so there's no bad decision. These are all more preference than they are anything else. I might feel one thing on the Avan blade and something else on the Cyclone, but when you're flying, it might fit your flying style better or the track that you're flying better. So I'm just here to try and convey the experience that I have of using these 2 props to you, and hopefully have that be useful in some minor way. One last thing about the Avan. This prop was specifically designed for the Emax 2306 2750 kV motor, which in reality is 2630 kV, I believe. So keep that in mind. So what I'm flying here is the Dahl 5050 twin blade, and this blade is, like I said before, it's just the tri-blade in a two-blade configuration. It's a very light blade. The Avan blade is also very light. This is not a proper view. I'm really just giving you comparisons. I can't really do anything else anymore because these props are all good props. So I really just have to try and explain what they feel like in words so that it conveys some sort of value to you guys. Anyways, so the 5050 twin blade, it's a 5-pitch, at least they say it's a 5-pitch, and it's very, very fast. It has a very, very good top end, and I can pretty much hold almost wide open throttle. Over here I'm about like 75-80% throttle, and I'm just holding it, and I'm just waiting for the battery to sag, and it's just not sagging, and that's what really impressed me. And then when I start going through these gates, I then get some battery sag, and I hit the ground, and I bounce off the ground, which is fine, but whatever. I mean, the battery held out pretty good. Another note, this is actually the China Hobby Line battery that I'm flying, and this battery that I'm flying specifically has exactly 26 charge cycles on it, and at charge cycle 17, I actually dropped all 4 cells down to 1.3 volts per cell, 1.3, 1.4 volts per cell, and I charged it back up. So I have just been hammering this pack, and it's performing as it did when it was new. And I know that because I actually have 3 new packs that I'm comparing against this one pack that's old. And so kudos to China Hobby Line, not the absolute best packs, but this 1300 100C pack has performed pretty damn well, and I'm very impressed with it. First and foremost, I'm really sorry because my quad is broken in this video. I actually have a completely bent shaft. I have not bent a shaft on a prop in a long time, but I smacked the ground really hard when I was flying around at the track the other day, and so it's got a lot of vibrations. But I did actually put the props on a new set of motors that don't have bent shafts, and it has similar kind of wobbles and vibrations that you're seeing in this video. What I'm feeling, so I'm just gonna have to fly around that. What I'm feeling with this prop is that the prop is it's violently fast. It is very, very fast, and that is accurate with what the prop was made for. This prop was designed for speed. It was designed to go fast. It wasn't really, I mean, it has control and it has handling and it has all the good features, but it's primarily designed to go fast. And on top of that, it was intended for a 2306 2750 kV motor, the one from Emax. What Emax actually did was they provided Sage with the power profile of their 2750 kV motor, and Sage designed this prop specifically for that motor. In reality, it's not actually 2750 kV, it's more like 2600 or 2630 kV, so the prop is really designed for a high torque 2600 kV motor, but in the end, it's designed for a big, meaty motor. And I have it on a 2206 motor here, and I don't know if I'm feeling the difference, but I don't have 2306 motors, and I haven't put it on my 2207 yet, but I feel like the prop just generally lacks control across the board. But that does make sense because it's designed for speed, it's not designed for control and handling. Yeah, I know you guys think that, oh, there's another new prop and another great prop, and I'm going to say it's amazing or it's not amazing, but that's actually not the truth. I don't like most props. There's a very few select props that I fly and I prefer, and I'm looking for a really good twin blade because we don't have a really good twin blade. Between these two, it's mostly preference, but I can tell you that the Avan twin blade just generally has a very low degree of control. At least that's what I felt on my quad. I didn't try it on the 2207. I haven't tried it on the 2306 2750 kV. I do have some of those on the way that I'm going to test. The Avan prop is designed to go very, very, very fast, and that's its primary focus, is to go fast, and it goes really, really, really fast. It's a really high difficulty prop to fly, in my opinion. I had a lot of trouble. I mean, maybe it was just because my quad was bouncing around like I was flying a wing. On the other hand, the 5050 twin blade feels very much like a Cyclone blade. It feels very similar. It actually has less of that sharp feeling. The Cyclone blade, in my opinion, is one of the most distinctly different blades to fly. It feels totally different versus every other blade that I've flown. I distinctly know that I am flying a Cyclone blade every time I take off from the first 2 seconds. And this is no different. It feels exactly like a Cyclone blade. It does lose a little bit of the sharpness of the Cyclone blade because I think it's lighter, but in general, I think that the 5050 Cyclone blade is the best twin blade that we have today. I'm not saying it's excellent or it's amazing or it's good, but I think that if you're going to run a twin blade, I think the 50/50 is the best one, and I have actually asked Dahl to make this twin blade for several months now because we really needed a half-decent twin blade. The 50/38 twin blade is a very good twin blade prop, but it's a low-speed prop. It's not designed to be a high-speed prop. We need a high-speed twin blade prop that has decent efficiency. In general, the 50/50 blade is overall much more efficient at giving me longer flight times. I don't know if it's faster or slower. It's probably slower than the Avan twin blade because I feel like it's significantly slower. The Avan twin blade, when I hit the gas and I go and I get to actually get up to speed, it feels like I'm really moving quick. But unfortunately, I can't give up control for speed. So I would much prefer a little bit more control. It's not a bad prop, and like I keep saying, you guys have to just try them, and I'm only trying to convey the difference between the props and what they feel like to fly.